So, today, to celebrate the arrival of Rayman appearing in Mario and Rabbit Sparks of Hope for next year, I'm going to do a request to everyone about doing the upcoming Rayman Evolution. As I noticed that before that happened, we will get the Tower of Doom as they face their doom in a new combat game mode. But the heroes must confront a mysterious foe in a new enchanting planet. But Rayman is embarking on his own adventure for the first time ever since probably 2013. I know we need to get some paintbrush to put a rubber duck on a so we can plunge it down to its evolution. Now, let's do the Rayman evolution. Well, from now on, before we could do this, when Michel Ancel created Rayman back around the mid-90s, around 1993, Michel conceived Rayman as an idea of what Rayman could have looked like. In this early idea of Rayman, he intended to pitch Rayman to the probably Super Nintendo Entertainment System, aka SNES, or simply called SNES for short. And most notably, he attempted to pitch it to Sega Mega Drive, aka Sega Genesis outside the UK. I always prefer the term Sega Mega Drive over Sega Genesis because what I've learned that, speaking of Sega Mega Drive, the funniest thing about Rayman is that Rayman was designed to be like some sort of an athletic, Sonic-esque human boy with helicopter hair throughout the first two games. And this would pretty much result in 1995's Rayman. In his first adventure, Rayman was sent on a quest to defeat the evil Mr. Dark, who has stolen the source of all that is good within the Glade of Dreams, which was a magical crystal ball that would protect the bands of everything that Big Teller has. This time, Rayman, however, is about to rescue all the Electroons from the Dark Toons, and this time, he has to do this on his own, without anyone else knowing, except that his people are the Rays, who would help him struggle to battle his ferocious rogues gallery of villains. Although it was a huge success that it was released on September 1st, 1995 on the Atari Jaguar, it would later go on to get a sequel 4 years later on Rayman 2 The Great Escape. Just like the first one, which had a PS1 port, this one is very interesting. That in Rayman 2, when Mr. Dark is defeated, the evil pirates have destroyed everything in Rayman's turf. And this time, Rayman is sent on a new quest to defeat Razorbeard and his pirates before it's too late. Unless he has to find over 180 lumps that have been scattered throughout a tropical island, with help of a new character created for the series called Glowbox. Even though, like the first game, it will be port overdosed with the Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, and the somewhat infamous Nintendo DS and crappy 3DS ports. Also in 2000, at around the end of 2000 and the start of 2001, we would get Rayman Revolution, which serves as an extended version to Rayman 2, The Great Escape. Then, around 2001, when Michel Ancel stepped down from directing Rayman 3, I'm guessing the person who directed Rayman 3 was the rest of the Ubisoft team. I noticed whoever directed Rayman 3 in what Ubisoft was planning to make a tie-in King Kong video game for Peter Jackson is that when Rayman 3 was produced by Ahmed Boukhelifa, Ahmed stated that he had the idea of what Michel Ancel left his grip on Rayman behind. So Ahmed and his pals created Rayman 3 as it took place in an alternate continuity. Rather than giving Rayman helicopter hair, Rayman gets spiky hair. Although it's non-canon, to realize that this is an interesting story. The story of what Rayman 3 was like this is that it was originally called Rayman 2000 during development, and it was supposed to be a direct sequel to Rayman 2 The Great Escape. However, Ahmed stated that just because he wanted Peter Jackson to be involved in Rayman 3, Peter stated that he was not interested in doing Rayman 3 and was better off doing the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Although, he did work on producing the unproduced 1996 King Kong script, which was canned because it could have come down to 1998, but its elements were retooled into Rayman 3 Hood and Havoc. Even though when this game was originally leaked in 2002, they redesigned him 20 years ago in 2002 and released it in 2003. Even though Rayman 3 was released in 2003, his design was used for the E3 2002 game convention. It was quite uniquely awesome to modernize him. Although this was to rival with Sly Raccoon, Kingdom Hearts and Ratchet & Clank, it also managed to put Mario Party 4 to shame with some new techniques that this game pulled off the impossible of what the Mario franchise could do. Yeah, that was awesome. But it also dealt with Rayman trying to stop a plague of black lums who were trying to cause an outbreak to take over the entire world. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. But in 2006's Rayman Raving Rabbids, which was originally called Rayman 4 during development, had some new ideas for the party. This game called Rayman Raving Rabbids is a party game, although the DS port is a platforming game. Along with the Game Boy Advance port, Rayman would go out on his adventure of being stuck in a coliseum full of rabbits, and Rayman has to task himself to battle the rabbits once and for all. Along with Raving Rabbids 2, Rayman would travel to Paris, France to confront the rabbits, or else he could do enemy mining to deal with them. That applies to TV Party when the rabbits get stuck in TV Land. And then we had Rayman Origins. In Rayman Origins, as it revisits its roots to the first game, Rayman Origins, like Rayman Hoodlum's Revenge, dealt with the story of Rayman going back to his 2D ways. And this video game, along with its sequel in Rayman Legends, might have served as inspiration for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Like before we had Spider-Verse, we had Rayman Origins and sequel Rayman Legends. For Rayman Origins, it was negatively panned by critics. Although Rayman Raving Rabbids had mixed reviews, along with sequels, this one was divisive because they brought back Mutilla, including the nymphs, who were designed to be a little bit too inappropriate for a kid's game. Although Rayman is only able to slap his hands, and it turned many fans off. Then, in Rayman Legends, that game killed the franchise as a whole, because Rayman was forced to go on a medieval quest with the help of his new friend Barbara, who was created for this game. However, this game is what killed the entire Rayman franchise when they found out that Mr. Dark was a Tennessee. And that's terrible. We had to wait for a drought of 9 years until Rayman would be redesigned. In this art style that we know of for today, this art style looks very similar. Although the CGI animation, the design of Rayman, is somewhat based on the 2.5D, 2D styled, 2D to 3D, 2D styled CG animated 2D to 3D hybrid thing that began with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And this art style looks like it's the same art style as the Mitchells vs. the Machines and the bad guys. It sounds a bit familiar, but they brought back his white, weird-looking strings for his hoodie from the one from 2003. And they brought back his iconic spiky hair from 2003. And they brought back his shoes, his gloves, everything. And I noticed that everything except for the other characters now be retired. Yeah, I'm hoping this game would save the Rayman franchise as a whole. But if you would hit the like button, you could subscribe it from now on. Although the first Rayman game, although the first 3 Rayman video games were praised by critics, Rayman 4 Raving Rabbits was getting mixed reviews because the rabbits were created to be very popular. Even though they got their own spin-off franchise without Rayman's help. And for duology of the 2D art style, it was panned by critics. Both of the games were panned by critics for no reason. But with that out of the way, I ran out of ideas because I'm going to have my nachos that from now on, this is where I'm going to save it for My Neighbor Totoro the musical. So, bye-bye!